Okay, guys. So I don't use as many different types of 4 card spreads as what I do with 3 card spreads, but you'll know that I like to use a 4 card spread as a kind of general reading. Um, and yeah, let's take a look at that. So anyone who's in any of my lives when I'm doing readings, if anyone asks for just like a general reading for the week ahead, I tend to use this 4 card spread that I'm going to show you. Okay. So I'm using the Chakra Healing Tarot um, to show you this. Let's just give it a good wee shuffle and let's have a look. So let's just use that as an example question, okay? A general reading for the week ahead, okay? So the first card is going to tell us about our strengths, okay? And we've got the Page of Swords, okay? Um, so as a strength, this the Page of Swords is, forever learning. The Page of Swords is always, on a quest for information and understanding. They want to penetrate the world and with their mind and just understand how things work, why they work the way that they work. They're always wanting information, okay, and their ability to to be interested in so many things, and to just gain understanding of things is really something to admire. So that's what the Page of Swords would tell us. So that's a strength, okay. So if this is for me for the week ahead, that suggests that, the intellectual side of me is going to be on fire this week. The next card, which we'll put down here, is going to be the opposite. So it's going to be like a weakness, a weakness or a limitation. Um, okay, we'll get the Ace of Chalices. This to me speaks about self-care. Okay, the Ace of Chalices is about showing that love to yourself. Just as much as it is loving other people, to be honest with you. I always think that I'm going to turn on this light here and hope that that's a wee bit better, isn't it? Yeah, so that kind of journey to find love and to find connection with other people, it starts with connecting to yourself. I always believe so. I always see the Ace of Cups as very much about self-love, self-respect, and I've just realised there's a chair over my shoulder there. I put that there when I was tidying up the living room and I've not moved that away. So, never mind. Anyway, that is the weaknesses. That is something that I'm perhaps going to have to think about in the week ahead and focus on is, self-respect, self-love, self-care, just really looking after myself and being connected to my own needs emotionally. To the left, we're going to look at an asset. So what is something that I've got, an ability, it could be a physical thing that I've got. What is something that I've already got under my belt that's going to help me out this week? Okay, so we've got the Eight of Wands. Now, the Eight of Wands, we often associate it with this kind of high energy, speed, and movement, but let's not forget that the eights are also about, it's not just that movement, it's where that movement comes from, and that movement comes from a place of stability, stability that you've worked hard on, so you've journeyed all the way through the wands, you've got to the eight. Through doing that, you've built this system, this structure, okay? And that structure is what allows us to have that high energy, to have that movement, that speed. So that suggests to me that my asset is that stable structure that I've built for myself that I can then use to kick off from, okay? And then on the right hand side, the last card is an opportunity. Okay, and what do we have here? We've got Temperance. So Temperance is a bit of a stalker card of mine. Temperance is always stalking me. And that suggests that I've got, Temperance to me would suggest that I've got the opportunity to achieve balance. Okay, all of these things in life, none of us have a simple life. Some of us have more simple lives than others. Some of us, have pretty a lot on, but none of us have like a pure simple life where we only have to focus on one thing. Usually we've got, a good couple of things that our focus is constantly being pulled to. And I think temperance is just that kind of being able to find that balance, being able to find that oneness in yourself. You've kind of dotted your I's and crossed your T's in all these areas that are pulling your focus, all of these kind of areas in life that are important to you, and that you feel yourself being torn between. Temperance is just finding that balance, getting done what you need to get done so that you can just kind of be content in yourself. That to me is what temperance is. So there's an opportunity for me to do that. There's an opportunity for me to use this intellect in order to achieve this balance, but I just need to, I need to pay attention to that self-care aspect, I think. Now, what you'll often see me doing with four card spreads before I kind of finish up is I'll add them up and get the kind of overall feel, the overall energy of the reading maybe, or the kind of personality of the reading you might call it. So pages I count as 11, so page, knight, queen, king, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've got 11, we've got 1 is 12, we've got 8, which takes us to 20, and then 14 is 34. And then we reduce that down until we get a number between 1 and 22. Okay, so what did I say? 34. So that takes us to 7, which is the chariot. Okay, so it kind of brings us back to this, I guess, doesn't it? The chariot is using your kind of your willpower, your strength of mind in order to drive yourself forward. It's getting those two horses aligned, being able to align, again, what I was talking about with temperance, aligning those areas of your life. So in the chariot, the two horses are like kind of responsibility and desire. It's the kind of the selfless and the selfish parts of ourselves, if you want to call it that. It's just kind of getting them singing from the same hymn sheet and pointing in the same direction in order to drive that chariot forward. Okay, so those different areas of your life, it's just about kind of getting them all aligned, getting them all kind of, like we were saying with temperance, getting them all balanced and able to kind of drive us forward as the overall kind of personality, or is the way that I would see this. So that's one four card spread. Now, the other one is the elements. Okay, so my name's Elemental Cartomancy, my YouTube name, so it was going to have to come up sooner or later. So let's have a look. We'll do a wee elemental. Now, I like to kind of think about this. So there's kind of two different ways that I'll look at the elements when I'm looking at them in a spread like this. Okay. So one is, a very kind of I suppose it's two different ways that I look at the elements. There's one that's kind of more macrocosmic and there's one that's more microcosmic. One that's kind of quite esoteric. Is that the right word to use? Probably not. But one that's just very kind of philosophical, and then there's one that's very kind of down to earth, everyday life kind of things that we're looking at. But anyway, I'm yapping away. So what we'll do is we'll do one for each. So this particular kind of spread I think is helpful, if you've got a particular issue that you're looking at and you just want to kind of do a bit of a temperature check on yourself just to see where you are on the issue. So let's say someone comes to you and says, I've just started a new job. Can we just have a wee look at me and how I'm sitting in it, how am I doing, how am I feeling, all of that kind of stuff. So let's do that then. Okay, first we're going to look at fire, which is, fire for me is all about your sense of purpose, it's your legacy, it's passion, it's basically all of the things that kind of light that fire and really get us going. Okay, we've got the Five of Chalices, instability. Now, quite often when we're talking about fire, and we're going to, as when I kind of come on to the kind of second round of elemental kind of spread, you will see this play out. Fire is quite often talking about our job. It's whatever it is that you feel is your purpose in life, whatever you feel you've been put on this earth to do, to achieve, that's fire for you. Okay, at least that is the way that I look at it. So quite often it can be your job. For someone who's very kind of career driven, their fire is their job. Our imaginary person who's asked this question, this is just saying that their fire is a bit up in the air just now. They're feeling quite insecure and unstable um, in terms of their fire, and that makes sense because they've just started a new job. It makes sense that things are going to be a bit up in the air. Air. So this is the mind. This is the intellect. And we've got the Ace of Chalices. So this represents like a new challenge. That makes total sense because if you've just started a new job, you're going to find yourself in a new place intellectually. You're starting afresh. You're taking in new information. You're having to open up your mind in totally different ways than what you perhaps did before. So it would make sense to see an ace in that position. Okay, so this is air, the intellect, the mind, the psychology, this is basically what we're thinking. The next one, cups. Where are we emotionally? So we've got the moon, and again, this is actually making quite sense considering that this is just a question that I plucked out there. The moon tells us that we're going through uncharted territory and we're feeling a bit insecure. We're not really sure about what's going on. We find ourselves in an environment that we're just like, what the hell? Like, none of the usual rules apply and nothing seems to make sense. Well, yeah, if we've just started a new job this week, then it would kind of make sense to have that kind of moon energy around about us, to have that insecurity, that kind of feeling of being unsure. I mean, I suppose the message that comes with the moon is that, the sun's coming up, the night doesn't go on forever. At some point, the night ends, the sun rises, and it's just a wee bit of reassurance that we're not always going to feel this insecurity, this instability, this kind of feeling of just being unsure with ourselves. So that to me is quite positive. And then earth, okay? So earth is all about, it's the material, it's putting it all together. How is this manifesting itself in the material world? Earth is about our kind of stability. It's basically all the things that make us feel safe and secure and keep us sustained. It sustains life. Now, what have we got? We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. This might represent a kind of mentor type energy around about us. So if we're just started a new job, then maybe there's the Queen of Pentacles is someone around about us that's coaching us, that's helping us. It might be a manager type figure that's teaching us. Or maybe it's talking about, the questioner themselves. Okay, so maybe in starting this new job, they are now the Queen of Pentacles. They can now provide for, themselves, their family, they're now feeling a bit more in control of their earth, of their environment. So health wise, money wise, it's just things are starting to come together and feel more stable. Okay. So that is how, that's a kind of an elemental reading, just on a basic situation. And that's the kind of the more, philosophical kind of way of looking at it. What you can also do, and this is a kind of, I suppose, a different viewpoint on the elements. We can look at them in a more kind of mundane way. So how I described each of the positions there, that is generally how I would tend to look at the elements. But if we're looking at it in more of a, if I can use the word fortune tellery type way, then we might want to define things just a wee bit differently. Okay. So again, we'll start with fire, but instead this time we're going to say fire. Let's look at your working life. Okay, let's look at your job, career, let's look at that side of your life. Look at the Five of Chalices again. Okay. That just threw me a wee bit there. Maybe it's just telling me you never asked another question. You just fired right in there. Okay, so job-wise, again, we've just been through it, feeling a bit insecure, a bit unstable. The Five of Chalices is kind of a card about mourning sometimes, so maybe there's a job that's just ended, or maybe we're coming to the end of the current career, the current job, or we're getting to that stage where we realise that this isn't for me, I'm fed up with this, I don't want to do this anymore. There's a feeling of sadness around the work for this imaginary queen. air. Okay, so air is quite often about the mind and the intellect and things like that, but as well, it can represent challenges. If you look at the kind of, playing cards, the sort of spades, or even if you look at kind of your standard kind of Smith Waite deck, quite often swords charts our journey through, the challenges of life. So let's look and see what challenges our queen has at the moment. And we'll get the Queen of Chalices. Okay, so emotional problems. I mean, we seem to see that reflected in the job card. Um, it could be that there's like a female figure in the querent's life that they're having a bit of trouble with, or this could represent your questioner. And it could be telling you that Queen of Cups is the water of water, right? So we're looking deep into the emotions here. So in terms of what's troubling them at the moment, that there's something that they're struggling to get to grips with, get to terms with on an emotional level. Okay, and it looks as though it might be this kind of job situation. Next card is the Cups card. All right, so emotions, yeah, but again, let's say that this is more about kind of friends, family, love life, that kind of stuff. So we've got the Sun, okay? This suggests that, the home life, the family life, the friends, the partners, the wife, the husband, the spouse, whatever. It suggests that all that stuff is looking pretty good. So more and more I'm thinking, the problems that this person appears to be having at the moment are all very work related, career related. Um, so yeah, and then the last card is Earth. And I would say that that's probably looking at things like health and money, okay? Finances, that type of thing. So we get the Ten of Pentacles here. Money wise, there doesn't seem to be any problems. The Ten of Pentacles is quite a good card in terms of money. It suggests accomplishment in the field or in the element of Earth. So things are looking quite good, both family life and friends and that kind of stuff. It looks like the home life is pretty good. There's enough money to sustain a good life. It's just when we're looking towards that working kind of place that things seem to be a wee bit up in the air. Okay. Um, what was I going to say there? I was just going to comment on the colours. So yeah, the colours in this spread are really kind of popping out at me. They're really pleasing to the eye. We have this kind of consistency that we see here, and the friends, the family, the relationships type position, and the financial position. Okay, so we're seeing a consistency there. We're seeing this kind of red passionate colour, and then we see these kind of colder colours when it comes to the troubles in the work and stuff like that. So yeah, that was just something that I wanted to comment on. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Those are really the only 4 card spreads that I'll tend to use. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that this is helpful for you. If you do try these out, then let me know how you got on with it. Alrighty. So thank you for watching, guys. Take care, and until next time, I hope you have a great weekend, a great week, or whatever time it happens to be for you. Take care. Bye bye.